My name's Mel Brown. Welcome to season 3 of my crafting podcast. This is a no frills podcast. There's no editing, there's no captions. It's just bish bash bosh, as we say in England. So this is season 3. I've had a little break and I'm hoping now to record something every weekend and just tell you what I'm working on. I'm not going to follow a particular format, just going to talk about what I've been working on this week or what's on my mind this week. So I'm going to jump straight in. I am in the midst of Christmas crafting, so I don't know if we're going to be seeing family this year. I don't know what the corona restrictions are going to be like. We didn't get to give my hand knits and hand makes until July, I think, this year. The last Christmas's one, so sorry about the hair, it's gone a little bit wild. So I'm hoping we will actually get together with family at some point over Christmas, but I just don't know when. So I want to get everything done for Christmas Day, but I'm really feeling the pressure right now. But the first project, well, no, there's plenty of projects that are already finished actually, that you've already seen. But the one that I've done since I last spoke to you is tea towels for my mum-in-law. So if you watched before, you'll have seen the tea towels I made for me. There, let me show you. So this is a pattern by Kelly Casanova, who is a brilliant weaving teacher. I've made her on YouTube and various other places. So you can see from here that you do the warp in 3 colours, and then you do the weft, which is the weaving back and forth in each of those colours. So for one for each tea towel. And then there's a little texture pattern here, which makes them good for capturing water. It's 100% cotton. I can't remember what the yarn is, but it's just 100% cotton. It's nothing fancy. So there's a set of 3 of those. I've even ironed them. Yes, I have ironed them. So there's the one with the yellow, and there's the one with the green. Now these aren't my colours for sure, they're too muted for me, but they're the colours that mum-in-law chose. And rather than, mine have got a kind of tassely edge. Grandma's not really mum-in-law's not really a tassely kind of person, so I've done a seamed edge, so there are some tassels underneath because I can't cut them too short, but hopefully they won't detract. So that's that done. I have another set of tea towels to make before Christmas and another 2 things to do on the loom, so I'm really hoping I can get those done. Now the big story is spinning, because I haven't had any spinning mojo, excuse me, I'm going to reach my tea, for quite some time. I think it's I think I need to be in a certain place mentally in order to be able to spin. It's not something that like knitting and crochet, I can pretty much do that all the time no matter what state of mind I'm in, but I seem to need to have a certain amount of headspace to do spinning. I don't know. Anyway, I've not had it and I've not spun for ages, really since the Tour de Fleece. So sorry, I just poured it before I had my flask before I started recording, so it's going to get cold if I don't drink it. So what have I spun? I spun, oh, this is over here, this shouldn't be over here, it's underneath a candle, which is not a smart place to put something that I need to get my hands on, is it? As you can see, I'm still as professional as ever. So this was some fibre, one of the last Fibre Club fibres from Louise at Spin City UK, before she decided to take a break from the monthly Bat Club, possibly a permanent break. But that's what it's based on. I have never heard of ICAP before, probably a lot of you have, but this was what I hoped would break my duck with spinning. So I just got that lovely bat out and I threw it at the wheel in any way. Just threw it at the wheel basically and saw what happened. Made some lovely thick and thin yarn, and then I spirally kind of plied it with some kind of blue, light blue mohair. I'm trying to pick this up in some kind of a skein format, but it's not really working. So here it is. You can see the gorgeous colours. You can see some bits where it's not ideal, it's a little bit loose. But conversely some bits that are just beautiful, really lovely. And some bits, yeah, I've just spiral plied rather than actually making coils. So there's a lot of variation in it. It's been washed. It's not as robust as I'd like it to be, but it's going to be for weaving, so there's a limit to what it needs to be. So that's that. Really pleased with it. Looking forward to putting that into a weave. I have actually got a lot of hand spun. Actually, the iPad that you're sitting on, if that makes any sense, is full of, is on a box that's full of hand spun. So yeah, this is going to go and join it. So that was really good. And then I went on this retreat. So I used to run retreats, which some of you will know, but I actually went on a retreat for the first time earlier this month, and it was the Wheel U, which is Ruth, based in Scotland, or they're originally from New Zealand, and she ran this spinning retreat. It was postponed from 2020, and it was absolutely brilliant. I really, really loved it. Definitely be going next year. Met some really nice people, and just basically got my spinning mojo back. So one of the classes I did, I have to say I was pretty ill actually, because I had a lot going on leading up to that, a lot of really emotional stuff with family, and then I turned up and I really should have had a break. So my autistic stress headache came on the only full day I was there, so I missed a lot of the workshop, which is a real shame. But the workshop was actually with Ruth, and we were making art yarn. So what we've got here is some art yarn we made with these beautiful Wensleydale locks, and it's in a bit of a tangle, but it's really, really pretty yarn. And again, I'm going to use that for weaving, and it's particularly good because the locks are so well cemented in that I can have them hanging out the front of the weave, and I know they're not going to come loose when it's washed. So I over twisted the yarn, the singles. Ruth said to twist and make them quite twisty, and I took her at her word. So they're a little bit too twisty, so they're hard to control, but it's a technique that I will definitely use again. And yeah, really, really pleased with that. And then in the afternoon, which I managed to get in for about an hour of that workshop, we made this, which is absolutely gorgeous. So these are actually mohair locks, and they're coarse spun, kind of fluffed out to make a cloud. Didn't fluff them out an awful lot because I wanted a lot of that texture still there, and then they were coarse spun. The cloud of stuff was coarse spun and then thread plied. My thread plying is a little bit dodgy, but it's lovely, isn't it? Really, really pleased with that. So again, that's going to be in a weave. Really, really happy. So I bought some fibre while I was there because I didn't have any fibre with me. And I just the social sort of spinning, sitting around chatting. I bought some of the fibre called Haunui, which is a New Zealand breed that I haven't come across before. And let me show you this. So that's the Wheel U, and that's, people don't show prices, do they? I'm not really sure why, but I'm autistic, so I'm not going to worry about that. So that's what it was, and that's what I made from it. So I started it while I was there, and carried on at home, two-plied it. It's pretty much my standard spin. It's fairly variable, but yeah, it smells very sheepy. Very, very nice. So I'm very pleased with that. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with that. I suspect it's going to sit in my box underneath you for a little while until I know what I'm going to do with it. I should work out the meterage really. Ruth taught us when we were there a really good way of working out the meterage. Look at that, what a mess. Anyway, and then after that I picked up on a project that if you watched before, oh, this crinkly noise, you might have come across this, the Hilltop Cloud package that I got, which was most of these colours, in fibre, and my friend Sarah and I decided to do a kind of spin along and make something with it. And then she decided she'd actually like to make a hand spun jumper. So we obviously, that was not going to be enough fibre, so we decided to extend it out. So we're also spinning black Corriedale for it, which there is some of in there. And I'm using a lot of other fibres, a lot of them that she's bought for me. So this one is a John Arbon one that Sarah bought for me, and there it is. So again, it's a 2-ply. I think these are all relatively the same weight, grist, whatever. So I'm going to pop that in there with that, but I'm not going to do it now because it's very crinkly. And so yeah, really starting to build up some yarn there to make a jumper with. Definitely want to make all the yarn before I start the jumper, because I usually, when I do a hand spun thing, I'm kind of spinning for it as I'm going along. But I want to have it all done this time before I start. So definitely feel back into spinning, although once I got home and started spinning again, I started to think, oh my goodness, it's only 8 weeks till Christmas. I have got loads of Christmas things to do. So I started to freak myself out about that. So I have done a bit of spinning today, but I really just need to crack on. I'm making 2 advent calendars. One of them is a fibre one, and I've just kind of run out of steam with that. There's a limit to what you can do with what I've got. So I have put it together today, and actually it's huge. I'm looking over here, it's in a massive box. I don't know how on earth Andrew is going to handle that. It's going to take up loads of spare room. But anyway, we'll work that out. So I've got all that done. I just need to sellotape the bag shut, and that's done. I'm doing a yarn of minis, or 10 gram minis, I think, for my friend Sarah. And I've done all the dyeing, the last of the dyeing today. So those skeins are drying out, and then once when they're drying, I've skein them up. I'm going to put them in some kind of an order, put them into bags, and that'll be ready to go, because I'm meeting up with her in a couple of weeks to give her that. So those will be done, and that'll be a real weight off my mind, because obviously, you know, Christmas stuff is for Christmas, but Advent stuff is for the 1st of December. Well, in Andrew's case, the fluff one, the fibre one, is actually the 6th, because I ran out of steam and I haven't, 5 things short of it. And where my words are today. Okay, so then there's just a couple of works in progress I wanted to show you. One of my daughters is a bit mad about frogs, and I found a blanket which I thought she might like, and she did. So it's called Frog Frenzy, and there are 3 types of squares. So there's this one, which is a frog, obviously, and I have done all of those. I've put different expressions on them, different kind of eyes facing different ways and whatever. Oh, and that reminds me, you're meant to make a crown, a yellow crown for one of them. So one of them is the Frog King. And all the squares that just come up to here, the blue. And let's have a look, there's lily pads as well. That's really cute, isn't it? And then there's just kind of plain ones in between. So there's 12 of each. Now, I know what size she wants. The pattern's actually for a baby blanket. Now, she's not a baby, but she wanted a kind of lap blanket. And I've got a blanket that I made. If anybody remembers my Cozy Memories blanket. The knitted squares one, what do you call them? I can't remember what you call them. Mitered squares. And she wanted it about that size. Well, the 36 squares was nowhere near that size. And I really, to be honest, I did not want to make... it would about 8 by 8 would have done it rather than 6 by 6. So 8, 8, 64, take away 36, and you've got like, what, 28 left. I did not want to make another 28 squares. So what I decided to do was make 6 fit. So I've added 2 double UK treble, US double crochet rounds on, and that's now 8 inches across as opposed to 6. And so that should now be about the right size. So yesterday I finished off putting the border on all of the frogs, and now I have to put the border on all of the lily pads and all of the plain ones. I thought black would be good because it would kind of make them stand out. And then what I'm going to do is crochet together those squares with white possibly, or maybe that frog green, I don't know, depends on what I've got left over, but and then I'll put a border on, half treble crochet, something like that. Don't know, something like that. I'm not going to back it like I did the other one, because if any of the frog's eyes come off, I'll need to replace them, and it's going to be quite heavy as it is. So yeah, that's Frog Frenzy, and that's well in progress. And then the other thing is my sister-in-law wanted a Lila Bjorn. Where do you suppose that is? Oh, it's over there. Okay, so it's a crocheted top. You've seen mine. I am going to go get it. It's very unprofessional, but then I'm not exactly a professional, am I? So I made one for myself with a Shapey Swirl. Well, actually two, but I'm hoping I'll get away with just one for this one. So that's the first part, could be the back or the front, depending on what she feels like on the day. And then the second part is here. So this is the whirl that I'm working with. It's lost its form now, but so we're working from the blues through the pinks. So hopefully when this one is finished, it'll be kind of on the pink, and if I run out of yarn at that point, I've got some leftovers from the two whirls I made with mine, so I'll probably just find a way to bodge it through. So that's well on the way. I don't know when I'm going to be seeing her, but possibly the week before Christmas, although we don't tend to give presents before Christmas. If we get together after Christmas, we'll open presents, and I never give presents to hand it to people to open when I'm not there. I never do, unless they're in a different country. If I've made it for you, I want to be there when you open it. So I don't know when she's going to get that, but anyway. So that's all I'm going to show you today. Yeah, I'll try and keep these to under 20 minutes. They'll probably be even shorter than that. That's how I'm doing them on a weekly basis. There'll be less to catch up on. So sometimes I'll be chatting about what's going on. I'm not going to talk about anything about that today. And sometimes it'll be focused on a project or a craft or whatever. But there should be plenty of variety, hopefully. So, all the usual things, like, subscribe, send me a cake, I don't know, all the usual things. Thank you for watching. Happy crafting, and I will see you next week. Bye!